What's happening, everyone? It's Peter here, founder of Expedition Money. And one of the things that I want to talk to you about is on your journey to financial independence, you are going to probably figure out that trading your time for money is one way to make money, but it's not a good way to scale money. I.e., if you have to go somewhere and get paid $15 an hour, $20 an hour, maybe you're getting salaried and it's $100 an hour, whatever it is, that's just very limiting because you have only a certain amount of time in your day and you can only trade so much of that time. You still need to sleep and eat and spend time with the family and watch the latest TV show on Netflix or whatever it is. So we've got things to do and you just don't have unlimited resources to trade in terms of time. We all have the same amount of time. So one of the ways that you can scale the work that you need to do, and one of the ways that I do it, is I hire people. Now, that is usually something that you hear a lot of people say, hey, free up your time, scale up how much you can earn. When I was in financial planning, they would always say, hey, start hiring staff. You should be focused on the more important things like the sales and working with clients. And that's easy to say, but if you don't have the money coming in to pay that person, and especially here in the United States, if you want to hire anyone, even at minimum wage, and because minimum wage is so high, it's just not going to be cheap. And even if you're trying to find someone part-time, there's just a limit to what they can do. So hiring someone to help scale your business, to scale your work, is not necessarily something that a lot of people want to embrace, but it's something that I think intellectually we know we need to do. Now, the way I do it, and the way that I started out by doing this, is something that I am a big believer in. And now I've been doing this for a few years, and I actually hire someone to help me in my business, Janelle, out in the Philippines. She is great. She's been with me for a while. I've actually got to see her develop with new hardware and new skills and leveling up that and getting married and having new life events and all these other things. So it's not only been a pleasure and a huge relief for me to have that help, but it's certainly been fun to have someone else in my organization that I can connect with. And she's been just an awesome rock star. Now, let me get into just quickly some of the details. We will dive deeper into outsourcing overseas in the Philippines. The time difference is about 13 hours, so if you need someone that's going to work during the day, during business hours, be collaborative with you real time, you can get that, but it's probably going to cost you a little bit, and it's probably going to be hard on those people because they're going to be working opposite hours. If you're working midday, they're going to be working midnight. And I know that takes a toll on a lot of virtual workers. And a lot of times they're called VAs, virtual assistants. But John Jonas of OnlineJobs calls them online Filipino specialists. And I totally agree with that because they're not just an assistant. And Janelle is not just an assistant for me. She doesn't do email responses and manage my calendar or anything like that. She does real work. She does heavy video editing, a lot of stuff that is here on this channel, a lot of stuff that's on my other channels. And so she is very busy, has to have the latest in hardware and software to be able to do that. And if the things look good, you'll never know about them. But if she does well, it's just going to be very transparent to you. You're going to get the information that you need, and it's going to be pretty painless to watch, hopefully, other than this guy right here. So I'm going to talk a lot about hiring someone overseas, but what I wanted to get into today is basically the two main websites where you can find people in the Philippines to work in your business. So if you have something that is very digital, this is going to be a great place to look. So if they need to work online, maybe responding to emails, maybe doing digital work, graphic design, writing, copywriting, even legal work, you can find people to do this. If you are looking for just a virtual assistant, someone to manage your calendar, someone to make appointments, find gifts, sort email, prioritize the ones that you need to respond to, send out invoices, make sure things get paid, you can find those people too. There's a whole range of skill sets that you can find in the Philippines and a whole range of costs. And I would expect you to pay more for higher end services, more technical services, things that maybe require a college degree versus some of the things that are more easily replaceable. In fact, I noticed that when I went through the hiring process, some people didn't even own a computer. They would do their work by going to a computer cafe and they would subscribe to some time because it was just responding to email. They didn't need heavy processing power. Everything they were doing was web-based. In my case, with Janelle, she has to have her own computer. It has to have large storage. She has to have a good internet connection. That's what makes her valuable. And so it's going to cost me more because of those additional requirements. All right. First of all, where can you find and how do you get connected to good candidates? So the first one I want to talk about is VirtualStaff.ph. So this is a website, VirtualStaff.ph, and the other one is another website. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the differences here because one may fit your needs better. I've used both. They have their pros and cons, but they're both exceptional places to find people. So Virtual Staff is generally free up front, which is interesting. You can post a job and start getting candidates. But what they want to do, and the way they make money, I believe, is once you hire them, they want you to use their payment system to pay them. Now, they actually have some interesting tools. When a person is hired through them and they do work through the website actually has some software that will monitor the computer, send you screenshots every 15 minutes if you want them. So there are some ways to manage who's working, when they're working, and are they working on your work. And then what I generally think will happen is that they get a small cut of the money. And I don't know how big a percentage this is. I know that over the years they have tried to reduce that because some of the workers have said, hey, that haircut that I'm taking when you pay them and they pay me is a little too much. A lot of times they want to go outside of that network to get paid directly so that there isn't a discount that they're taking on top of that. At least to my understanding, that's their business model, which is nice if you don't want to pay something up front, if you don't want to pay monthly fees. Now, John Jonas is a business owner that runs a podcast about OFSs, Online Filipino Specialists, and he has a website, OnlineJobs.ph. The PH is the Filipino extension. And his business model is slightly different, where you can post jobs and then get applicants, but you don't see them until you pay. So basically, they charge a monthly subscription to have access to the site, and then you can do a lot of stuff through there, which is really nice because it's really a one-stop shop. Now, I would say when you do post a job, you're probably going to get lots of applicants, and it's probably going to be a situation where you're going to need some help trying to screen them, trying to figure out who's legit and who's not, what technology they have, are they affordable to me. I have seen bids from people saying that they want the job from anywhere from $2 an hour to $40 an hour. But in many cases, even for pretty specialized skills, you can pay anywhere from $4 to $8 an hour. And so when you think about hiring someone comparatively here in the United States that's going to start at anywhere from $9 to $15 an hour, you are talking about having that cost. And in most cases, if you pay someone between $150 to $250 a week, so between $600 and $1,000 a month, you can get someone full-time that's going to be really good at their job. And the nice thing about it is they are a contractor to you technically. They will call themselves employees. So hopefully you treat them like an employee and value them like an employee, but that alleviates you of the rules of an employer. So a lot of employers in the Philippines have to do certain things. They have to do something called the 13th month pay. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do bonuses or paid time off or family leave or anything like that. Now, what I would say is even though you don't have to do them, I would do them. And for me, I try to do all of the things, including giving off the important holidays, doing the 13th month pay, doing paid time off for the benefit of my video editor, because if she worked for an employer in the Philippines, she would get those benefits anyway. Now, I want to make sure she's happy, that she sticks around, because honestly, when you find someone that's really good, you want to hold on to them, because it's a lot easier to hold on to someone good than to keep churning through new people, because sometimes you'll find some people that aren't very good. I got very lucky that on my first initial hire, I got my dream worker. She's a rock star. I'll never let her go as long as she wants to stick with me. But she saves me so much time. She levels up what I'm able to do. And most importantly, she allows me to scale my work so that I can spend twice as much time, 3 times as much time, 4 times as much time on the really important stuff where I have that skill set and I don't have to be bothered with the more menial stuff. The reality is, by hiring her, she's actually tripled or quadrupled my effective time. So that makes it really nice. And now if I actually had to hire someone that did graphics design or runs the business or does the bookkeeping, you could do that too. In a lot of cases, sometimes you don't need a full-timer. Sometimes those people are looking for a part-time job. Sometimes these people work in areas where there aren't a lot of job opportunities, so they're willing to work for quite a bit less than someone in maybe the larger cities like Manila. So there are just a lot of opportunities to scale your effort, especially if you are thinking about approaching financial independence. Maybe the financial independence retire early. Maybe you're looking at entrepreneurship. Maybe you're just looking at a side hustle, but you're saying, hey, I don't have 10 hours a week to dedicate to a side hustle. But what if you had 2 hours a week and you could offload some of those activities that are just a little bit more mundane, routine, just process-based, that you could train someone else to handle? Those would be ways to explore some of these opportunities, which really could blossom into something amazing with the help of a professional that's not going to cost you nearly as much as someone domestically. So I will talk more about hiring virtual assistants and online Filipino specialists, because I just think they are amazing. Even if you have an established business, a big business, I think hiring someone overseas could be a huge benefit to you and your company. So I look forward to discussing about that more in the future. But in the meantime, I hope that helps. I'll see you later.